I was recently invited to review an article that was written by Phil Roberts back in January of 2025. It's called Transform Your Team's Trust in 5 Seconds. And then in parentheses, it says, yes, really. And while we're on the topic of trust and creating good environments, I thought it'd be good to review this article. So I'm going to just go through with you and we'll talk about it as we go. We'll take little breaks. I used to think that building trust was like brewing a decent cup of coffee. It takes time, the right ingredients, and usually a few burned attempts. One of my old bosses told me, you have to earn trust. Yawn, right? Trust is built over time, over months. Double yawn. Trust needs time. Seriously, who has that kind of time? Confession, at some point, I was that manager. One who thought trust would just magically appear after the team lunches and trust falls and doing enough of those types of things. And guess what? It didn't. Though I did learn my radio team really likes pizza. Then one day, a team member messaged me. It hit me harder than the morning show meeting. They suggested starting Christmas songs on Halloween. Okay, I'm confused. I'm just going to keep going and then I'll chime in. It was a stern but lovely Claire, a radio producer. You know what's funny, Phil? She said, you trust us to broadcast live to thousands, but you don't trust us to choose our own lunch break. Ouch, talk about a reality check. That's when I discovered what I now call the 5 second trust builder. Okay. I think I get the gist of what this person is trying to say. Trust is something that a lot of people say, oh, trust is earned, or it takes a long time to build trust or to regain trust. For me in my household, it's always been, my trust is yours. You have it. It's yours to lose. And I think that when you come at it with that approach, people appreciate you and they appreciate your stance a lot more. It can't just be about, once you earn my trust, then we'll see what happens. It has to be different. So let's see what evolves here. Let's see what happens. It says, here's now what happened. It was during one of our weekly production meetings, and everyone was staring at their phones, probably planning what to have for dinner. And I was about to launch into my usual, here's what we need to do speech. But instead, I stopped myself, and I said something scarier than that radio presenter who juggled in that job interview. I said, I don't actually know the best way to handle this. What do you think? 5 seconds of silence followed, like that awkward dead air when someone forgets to press play on the next track. By the way, that's every radio presenter's nightmare. But then something magical happened. Ideas started flowing faster than complaints about Janice's chewing gum on reception. This is a funny article. Real ideas, bold ones, things I never thought of. That's when I realized trust isn't built over months. Trust should be built in moments. 5 second moments where you actually dare to be real. I like this. I think that one of the articles I've done in the past has been about the 7 critical decision-making points that everyone has in their life where everything revolves around the decisions they make at these 7 key moments. This is a very, very similar article. The only difference is he's talking about a 5 second trust builder. So let's walk through how the 5 second trust builder works, and then I'll give you my thoughts and formulate an opinion. So step 1 is the honest stop. Instead of pretending you got it all figured out, no one believes that anyway, just stop. Say, you know what, I'm stuck here, or there's something I'm not sure about, or I'm not sure about this. It's kind of like admitting you have no idea how to pronounce a new artist's name. We've all been there. And that's what YouTube's for, actually, right? To figure things out. But you have to pause and tell people, hey, I need your help, or I'm not sure about this, or I'm stuck, right? Then there's the power flip. Instead of trying to be the omnipotent, all-knowing boss, flip that power dynamic. Ask somebody, wow, I'm blind. I can't even see what I'm missing. What am I not getting here? Or I'm curious, how would you handle this? That gives them the power back and allows them to really be more expressive about what their thoughts or ideas are. The final step is the real response. Here's the crucial bit. When they speak, shut up and listen. Like, properly listen. Not the nodding while checking your teams kind of listening, but the actual listening where you could recall back some of the things they said. You could You could use your own words, and they know that you're listening, not with just the intent to reply, but you're listening with the intent to understand. I think those are strong differences. So the results, the team went from waiting to be told to ready to take charge, faster than a TikTok trend takes over a breakfast show. I don't know about that. Even my most, even my most cataleptic producer, Sammy, went from eye rolling to idea flowing. The best part, trust became the default setting, like autopilot, but without all the boring bits. Want to know how to do and what you need, or if you need this trust building hack? Here's a quick test you can do. If your team meetings are starting to sound like a monologue, try being completely quiet for 5 seconds. Just try to be completely quiet. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go practice trusting Walter, my cat, with an open tuna can. Update. That was a terrible mistake, a very messy mistake. I think the key here is for us to remember building trust doesn't have to take forever, but it does require you to do 2 things. You need to shut up and you need to be real. I think that's what people are lacking. I can tell you right now, this is a beautifully written article, witty, but the most important part of this article is Phil's way to encapsulate how trust is building an environment brick by brick, not just saying, here is the pre-built, prefabricated home of trust, but it's also, it doesn't have to take years. It should be moments. And in those moments where we trust others, and in those moments where we build relationships, that's when we discover what trust really means, and it helps us understand and express trust and love for others. So that's going to do it. I hope that this episode helped you out, especially if you're dealing with teams and trust issues. If you have something you want us to talk about a topic, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. We'll talk soon. Bye now.